ever. Good God. These are going to be my gable vent covers. I'm going to put these up. I was just going to put up screen where it is in the treehouse, but I'm thinking I'm going to put these up and then mark it so that I can cut out smaller triangles and have them hinged on the top so that it will be a frame around the screen, but also have little triangles that I can hinge up so I can open for warm weather and close for cool weather. Alright, here's what I'm talking about. This area right here is going to be screen. I'm going to put this up. Like so. So that that's covering that area, but then there's going to be a triangle cut out of here, hinged, so it comes up this way. So I'm thinking like so. Good. I'll mark it on the inside so I'll know exactly where to cut it. Okay, now that I'm in here, got them temporarily screwed in place. I'm going to mark exactly on the inside. And these need to go in because they're going to be in the center of these boards. And the same with these. But this is going to be the hinge mark. Okay, I got my screen material. 48 inches wide. And I need 45, 90 triangles that are 45 inches. So what I'm going to do, or 48 inches, sorry, 4 feet. So what I'm going to do is cut this right at 96 inches. Or a little bit more, give or take. Then I'm going to fold this in half. Down the seam, or the fold I should say. And then fold this. And cut it down this fold. That'll give us our triangles we need to fill the gables. There's 2 triangles, and then once I cut this one, I'll have 4 triangles. I think it's kind of weird when you move the screens. It does a weird, I don't know if it'll show up on camera or not. Get close and see. I just think that's cool. Got my staple gun and my triangle screens I cut out. What I'm going to do is take one of my triangles. I think what I'm going to do is line up overlap it a little bit down the middle. And just start stapling, try to keep it smooth as I go. All right, what I've got here is one of the 4 gable vents. There's 2 gables, but 2 pieces on each side. It's gonna be like gable vent covers. And what I did is I temporarily hung them in place and marked on the back or the inside where the frame pieces were. So the plan is to cut out with just a little bit of an overhang and put hinges, which I've got. Got these 3-inch hinges, and we'll put 2 on this side so they'll hinge up underneath the roof. So what I'm going to do is take the circular saw, cut these almost to the corners, put in the hinges, and then cut out the corners with a jigsaw, make them a little bit rounded, and then possibly come back and smooth out the edges with some sandpaper. So it'll be a bunch of mounting and unmounting, and then once everything's all ready to go, I'll mount it on the treehouse and hopefully rig up some type of parachute cord system to pull them up and down remotely. Anyway, we'll get started on cutting this out. I've cut my 3 sides but left the corners uncut. One, so I can put my hinges on the other side where everything's lined up, and 2, so I can come back and actually put in a radius with the jigsaw instead of just having sharp corners there. So what we'll do is flip this over, and this will be the side with my 2 hinges. So I'll go ahead and position and mount those 2 hinges there, and flip it over, finish making the cuts. Well, on each door I'm using 2 of these 3-inch bronze hinges. Just got them because they're darker. They come with the hinge, 6 little screws, and 1 big screw. So I'll be using my straight edge to line those up. We'll go ahead and do that. One right there. One right there. Okay, what I'm doing is centering that above the kerf, making sure it's lined up with my kerf as well. I'll clamp this side. Some starter holes. Do my clamps. Starter holes on this side. There we go. All right, here's a pointer. If you don't want your drill wallowing around, they make special center drills for these hinges. But if you don't have one, what you do is you find a drill bit that'll fit through the hole just, and you just barely drill a little bit there, and that gives you the funnel to guide your next drill in. This will stay centered in the hole because it's the same size as the hole in the hinge. And you're doing just a little bit, and then when you switch to your smaller bit, it'll self-center in that hole. And since your screws are countersunk, it'll fit down in that hole nicely. Then that way it won't move your hinge from exactly where you want it. Takes a little bit longer, but gets it done right. Alright, now I've got my hinges mounted. I'll flip this over and use a jigsaw just to round cut these corners out. Okay, I've got my corners cut out, my hinges mounted, so that's what it's gonna, move that a little bit, but that's how it's gonna, hinge. Need to round my corners out a little bit more. Use the belt sander to smooth off some of these corners where they were dragging, keeping the hinge from working properly. And so now it opens like it should. And I wanted to make sure also that this area right here was nice and smooth, because that could actually rub a little bit on the screen that's installed right now. So I don't want it wearing out the screen. So we'll finish up those and then we'll actually mount them in the treehouse. Now it's a matter of climbing up the ladder and screwing them in place. But I have dry fitted these before, so it should be relatively simple. This should make more sense as to how these work. When it's cold weather, they cover up the vents, not completely, but mostly. And then warm weather, be able to raise them up here. Now I'm thinking, I've got some screw eyes and some P-cord. I'm thinking I'll be able to hook it up here, raise it up and hold it in place. There you have both of them open. Okay, here's the gables, or the gable vents, all the way open. And what I've got is a parachute cord tied from there to that eye screw to that eye screw, and then these two screws here. And what you do is take that off and let that up, and your vent closes. When you pull down on this, your vent opens. So all you have to do is pull down around and hook it on the bottom. That holds everything tight. Okay, it might be able to easier to see on this end. Basically, you just unhook this screw, unhook this from the screw, lower that one down. And that one down. Put it back up. If you wanted to, you could have them just partially open. There's all the way open. Simple hinged gable vents.